I've already unmuted you. I've already unmuted you. No, you're not on the screen this time. Oh, that's
what have we here?
Everyone? Welcome to the show. I've just seen what I've done. I just want to make it nice and particular. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. It is Wednesday, a little bit earlier. I wonder if that means we're going to have more people or less people. My guess is less on a Wednesday. There's Zelda, and that's what's important. Lisa says hello, everybody. Vaden says hey all. It was Vaden's birthday yesterday. If you're in the comments, wish him a happy birthday for yesterday. But it's Sprinkles the Dragon Cat's birthday today. So make sure you wish him a happy birthday right now. Freaking let's go. Did we have like a present emote? That is present shaped. Ugh, that's terrible. We don't have like actual gifts to give. How is everyone going? It is Iron November. We are covering Iron Gold, which is Pierce Brown's fourth book in the Red Rising series. See my little rust-colored tabs? That's because I'm only reading Lyria's chapters. Thoughts about that soon. We are also reading the bonus book of Iron Flame, book 2 of the Fourth Wing saga that we covered in January of this. Was it January? No. When did we cover that? What month was that? What is month?
It was only like 2 months ago.
Was it only like 2 months ago? Yeah, it was September. Yeah. It was in September. Yeah, we did it in September, and now we're doing the sequel. It was fun to read, and it was fun to shred to pieces as well. So that was really good. Look, at the end of the day, it was very entertaining, and it sucked us all in. But the more we talked about it, the more problems we can find. That guy, Lou, says, say what? Oh, you said my favorite person on the internet. But there's so many people on the internet. I can't be a favorite. I will take silver at best. I will not take the gold spot. There's got to be someone better. That's questionable, my dude. It's questionable behavior. You need to do an Iron book review with Michael Ironside. That would be epic. Who's that? Chat. Who's Michael? Who's Michael Ironside? Does anyone know? Sounds like a great idea. I will look into it. Who is it? Can someone look it up real quick and just tell me who? I mean, I love these fantastic suggestions that who is
telling me you don't know who Michael Ironside is?
The name in my life.
Have you seen the Starship Troopers?
Oh, I love Starship Troopers. Not enough to learn anyone's name.
He's the guy that played like the CO, the bald guy.
Put a photo in show chat if someone hasn't already.
He's also a jester in Top Gun.
Yep.
Oh.
Where's Seb when you need him? He'd be all over this.
Avery, 17 months using your Prime subscription. Appreciate that one. And I was going to say, why aren't you in the show chat? But you've just shown up. Hello, Avery. How are you? I only remember Johnny Rico, says Sprinkles. Sprinkles, why aren't you in the show chat? What's going on? It's nice and intimate today. If you are a Patreon backer at the $15 tier, you get to join in with the show. We hang out in a video chat, so it's like our own little online book club, but we also get to share all our thoughts with you. Avery says, hello, sorry I'm late. I just had to finish chapter 30. No, it's all right. We were stalling anyway. We were doing a little bit of a stall. After this, usually we all stay in that video call and have a big catch up and a chat. I won't be able to do it this time because I am heading out of here to moderate, as I like to call it. You got to make the most of a shit name. Not just one, but 2 book releases that my friends have written. The first being Heroes Fest. This is Feast. I better get that out of my system now. If I say that tonight, I'm gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be like, fuck. In front of everyone looking at me, I'm gonna be like, Heroes Fest. Fuck. Heroes Feast, the second book called Flavors of the Multiverse. Now, it's a lot of fun. I'm going to show you a couple of pages. It came out yesterday on Vaden's birthday, also known as my mum's birthday. Let's try and find it. I mean, we love a bit of parchment. What? Break Room's rating? Break Room, you cheeky bugger. Break Room goes live at 3 p.m. every single afternoon, I think during the week. Aunt Zelda is here. Oh, hello, I remember that because my dog's name is Zelda. This is Zelda. Zelda. My dog is passed out. She had dinner a little early tonight. Maude, we love you, says Aunt Zelda. Very, very sweet. Ashley Battle drops a bunch of, oh my gosh, emotes. Break Room and trash bags. That's what I like to see. Trash bags. Kobe-1 Kenobi, who has changed the capitalization of his name, so I will no longer call him Kobe Wankenobi. Even though every single time I see it, I somehow still bring it up. As soon as it's not funny, I'll stop saying it. In saying that, though, Kobe Wankin has given us gifted subs. Saga_no got one. Sprinkles Dying Wish got one. Whoa, Jimmy, do you have something you want to tell us? Who's Sprinkles Dying Wish? Happy birthday, Jimmy. What? We'll make it come true. No promises, but we'll try. Distorted Lead, Break Room, and I'm Crazy. You just all got gifted a sub thanks to Kobe-1 Kenobi. Vaden, you just gifted a bunch of subs as well. What is this, 10? Was that 10? You just give 10 subs, did you? You sure did. Nova Steve B, Valerie, Cameron Rice, Rocker Mummy, Emore, Coleraine, Neanderson, Fizben, Le Magnifique, Saber Wolf, and Trigger Udit. You all just got gifted a sub thanks to Vaden. If you got one, make sure you say thank you to whoever gifted you a sub because we're nice around here. Nerd Girl Jean says, hey Maude. We love that. GP Widows, dropping the fleshy emotes. If you don't know what fleshy is, you've been missing out over at Break Room. A good time. Christian Unpronounceable says, yay, you have a doggo. Yeah, that's why I'm a decent person. I'm looking straight at you, Robin. Cat versus dog every single time here. And her cat wins because her cat is inappropriate with the camera every single time. Thank you to everyone who's dropping by. Ryan Painter says, we love you, Maude. Thank you, everyone. Sarah Hatchadurian says, hi, Maude. A lot of familiar names from when I do the Break Room. It's so lovely to have you over here. Rodney Clayus says, fleshy. And then a dancing crab. And that guy who does the key lime pie, which I ate. My first time having key lime pie. Guys, that stuff's not so bad. I like a bit of key lime. I found out what too much was, though, quite quickly. KPW gifted some subs. Dover Keen Barbie, Ryan Painter, Dan Bombadil, Ashley and Battle, and the Roz. You all got gifted a sub thanks to KPWs. Make sure you say thank you in the chat. Jimmy says, I'm at my sister's house before I got to Connecticut. She is holding a business meeting. And so it would be too noisy. That's why I'm not in the Discord chat. That makes a lot of sense. Well done on you being respectful on your birthday. Ryan Painter says, hey, KB Dubs, thanks for the gift sub. Ashley says, I can't wait to see you on the Loki stream tomorrow. Oh, guys, we got the fun. That is terrible.
Multipass.
I like that. Korban Dallas multipass. The alert box is just terribly placed. Apologies for that. But is it N-Beige or is it Nate Age? Or is it Nateage? Please tell me how to say your username. Thank you so much for following. We're dropping bits. We got a hype train? What did we just hit? What did we just hit there? What do we got? What does that say? It's just Zelda holding a little hype sign under her. But what level is it? Oh, okay, everyone, calm down. Getting too hypey. It's level 6? Shit. That's all right. I'm Crazy just gifted some subs. You crazy thing. Osiris Manpaw got one. Carly Loves to Read. I think that's the best username I've read today. Straight to the point. Andrew Shillingford. I mean, that's a Googleable name. As someone who has a lot of usernames as their first and last name. What's privacy?
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
X.Matt says, hello, Maude. Thank you for dropping the bits. Rodney, thanks for the bits as well. Dadayan42 and Root Bear 30. You got gifted a sub thanks to I'm Crazy 603. If you got one, make sure you say that. Oh my God. And Chris just gifted subs. What book? What book? We're just going to be doing this the whole time. We love.
This is now a gift sub stream. We're not talking about books. We're just reading names.
Yeah. Oh, I'm still going. A little Loxy. Psych
Turn
Class
to
of
page
23.
394.
I always think it's 396 for some reason. And I misquote it. And you see me doing it. And you can clip it and make it last forever. And that's the most annoying part about Twitch. Cool. Dan Soyboy and Silver Staged and It's Misread. You all got gifted a sub. Thanks to N Crisp. If you got gifted a sub, make sure you say thank you. Christ. Level 6 hype train. I feel alive. My wish is to speak Poosel tongue. Does everyone know the story?
I don't.
You guys don't know the story about Poosel tongue? Oh no. It's not my proudest moment.
Tell.
I thought it was one of the funniest things I ever said. And so when I was starting an interview with M. Night Shyamalan, I thought about it for a second and I was like, oh, that's the funniest thing I ever said. And he's like, tell me. And I was there next to Phil DeFranco and I was like, I should not say this. And he's like, just say it. What's the worst that could happen? Phil pretty much wanted to fire me after I said what I said. And in hindsight, like laughing at the beach with my best friend, discovering like what I thought was the funniest thing I ever said and saying it to like grown adults, life came at me pretty fast. And that was that not everyone likes shitty humor. Yeah, where was my boom tish? Where was my boom? You just can't do that in the video and not give me a boom tish. He's looking for it. There it is. By the way, did you know that if you're in the Prime Plus members? What's it called? Merch Plus members. You get access to the Discord sound effects. They're still coming through. KBW gifted us up to K Frito. That's very sweet. Eddie Rex, Darth Smeagol. It's such a visual. I don't think Smeagol should have that kind of power.
Execute Order 66.
E-Boogs, thank you so much for the follows. Welcome to Maude's Book Club, where we will talk about books eventually. Christian Unpronounceable, thanks for the bits. Carrie and Erin, thanks for those bits as well. Carrie, thanks for the follow. Erie in the Black, thanks for the follow. DD Eggs, thanks for the follow. Wow, Break Room, you're really making a gal feel welcome here. For those that don't know, tomorrow it is the season finale of season 2 Loki. I will be at the Break Room from like 6 o'clock, where we'll be going live on Break Room NR. If you haven't if you haven't followed Break Room NR, and see, I say NR, but that's going to be so confusing for people to try to find Break Room NR. NR. But then if I say R, it sounds like I'm saying O. Oh, it's just, I can't win. Break Room, the letter N, the letter R, is where you'll see me live if you want to watch the finale with me as I commentate what goes down. Oh, I hope it's good. I've been putting so much on this season. I want it to be so freaking good. We'll be doing an after show as well to talk about, right. Oh, Ryan's calling Sarah a boomer. I thought Ryan was calling me a boomer, and I was like, we have one rule around here. And that is like I'm on the cusp of being a millennial and Gen Z. And don't forget, like I saw the scoff, Tim. I saw the scoff. I know you hid it behind your hand, but I still saw it. You were like,
I don't know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
I saw it. I got eyes. I got young, crisp 2020 eyes because they're so young. They see everything. The hype train just earned 3rd level spells. Yeah, I love that around here, KB Dubs. It's what else have we been getting? There's just so many. We are still getting these coming in. I don't even know where they are in my feed anymore. It's like, oh wow, that was from 7 minutes ago. Fuck, take your time notifications. Oh my god. Thank you to Naposi, Darth Billany, Fernor, Lazy Blazy, T Matto, Jimmy Lav, Swervin. Oh my gosh, so many of the Break Room peeps came on over. That's so cool. Short Stackham, Style. Wow, there was a lot of stuff happening. And Kobe Wankin. Still got at least 5 more of those in me. Black Juzz, thanks so much for the follow. Welcome. We are doing book club. So, for those that don't know, I do a sci-fi fantasy book club. You may have heard me talk about it last week, where we saw in Loki, Obi's variant life, he was a sci-fi writer. And then I did a very heartfelt plea for everyone to read more sci-fi. Well, we are in the book club. We are racing through Pierce Brown's novel series, Red Rising. This is book 4 of the series. If you have not read books 1 to 3, get your tush onto it. It's very good. We at Maude's Book Club have been loving the series. This is the latest book that just came out. So we're making our way there slowly but surely. And because not everyone's super into sci-fi, we're doing a bonus book, and it's for all my girlies and my Shirleys and my Curlies and my, what else rhymes with that? What do you reckon? Whirlies? Whirlies? It's basically girlies and everything else that will be girly adjacent. We're reading Iron Flame, which is the Fourth Wing sequel, and it's got dragons, and it's got lust, and it's got sexy times. So there you go. That's what we are going to be doing. Christian's going to sleep. Oh no, Ryan's going to sleep. Everyone's kind of catching up with what's happening over here. I'm still catching up with the chat because a lot's happening as well. Phil's face was gold, says K. Frida. Okay, so you knew what I was talking about with that one. Aunt Zelda says, I've been considering joining the club for a while. Get your butt over here. Join the club. If you see the Discord link, click that one. Welcome on in. We do have tiers of backing. We've got different ways that you can support or join or participate in the book club. We have an online app. We've got a book club, on the app Fable. It's a free book club app where you can comment per chapter with a community. We've got Maude's Book Club and Maude's Bonus Book Club, since we're doing 2 books a month. We also have the Discord, the Patreon, social media. Yeah. And the chat during the live shows. Is it going to be a big party for the finale, or will it be low key? Oh, Jimmy, where's the boom tish for Jimmy? Oh, there it is. We need to have that like quicker. We need like shortcut buttons, don't we? Make it easier, Discord. We'd like to support / belittle everyone as much as possible to make it easier for us, please.
Maude's World.
Nice. It's just so weird when it's me and I'm like, I didn't say it, but I heard it. Break Room NR says, woo, see you Thursday and Friday, Maude. Have a good stream. Will do. Thank you. It's kind of uncanny seeing an American accent with Maude. Oh, when did I do that? I can't even remember doing it. Was Becky back again? Whoops. Becky is your friend. If you don't want to be friends, though, I have to take you out. You don't think I'll do it? I will. I'll kill you all. I don't remember saying that, but I mean it. I still mean it, I think.
I think they're talking about you saying NR.
Oh. R&R. Oh, Marcos Moustache, first time chatter. My 10 minutes are up. Take over. I don't know what that means, but welcome. Alex Reyes says, Morty Mummy? Is that what I've unlocked on the internet? Is that what I am, do we think? I mean, the only thing I'm a mother to is this floof ball. Fuck it, I'll take it. Orkin says, oh my god, I just came out from Break Room and you're reading Red Rising, love, love, love. Yes, welcome to Maude's Book Club. Cool shit happens here. Stick around, stay a while and listen. What game? What game is that from?
Diablo.
Yes, nice. We're nerds around here. Tankenstein says, Maude, you're the bestest. I like Tankenstein as a name. Oh, we're getting there. Swirlies. Thanks, Aunt Zelda, for 4 minutes ago. Short Stack, first time chatter, says, Maude, what genres do you enjoy reading besides sci-fi and fantasy? Self-development. I like learning about psychology and behavior. I also am trying to get more into thriller and mystery. They're kind of fun. And vampire smut. All right, that felt like a confession. Savvy says, y'all, I couldn't talk until now. I wasn't following her previously. Oi, glad you are, Savvy. Welcome. Purple fire is appropriate when talking Iron Flame. Where was there purple fire? Kepi Dubs. Where was the purple fire? It's too long ago. Oh, it's a Break Room's got a purple fire emote. I love that we're like non-verbally communicating here. He's just like, and I'm like, And he's just like, it's great. Okay, gosh, we're getting there slowly but surely. I do want to talk about this book, I really do. Christian says, have you ever read The Death Gate Cycle? No, tell me about that. Tell me about that. We've got a swear jar around here. Yeah, I'm Australian. New followers have to wait 10 minutes, so you're probably going to get another wave of BR fans. Oh, I didn't know that. Hey, Tass, can we do something about that? Can we lift it so that they don't have to wait 10 minutes to talk? It's like time out to talk to Maude. Nah. Bring it on. Zelda says there's nothing wrong with Vampire Smut. Alex says Vampire Smut, same. Kobe says we love Vampire Smut here. This is what a safe space feels like. Lisa, do you feel good that we can get our Vampire Smut on without any judgment?
Look, I don't care what you guys think. I am all for the Vampire Smut.
We are here. I'm like at book 17 or something with Anita Blake. It's like, honestly, my comfort place at this stage. Is there anything comfortable about it? Not remotely. This girl doesn't even know where to stand. She's bonking so many guys at the same time. But still... I'm like, every book I finish, I'm like, I just have questions. It's just, she's got like 5 boyfriends. And I'm like, more power to you, sis. I'm going to keep reading. So there you go. Even though I find her a little bit annoying.
Come to your senses!
No judgment here. If Anita Blake wants that, then Anita Blake gets what she wants. Thank you. Festive Wife says, favorite or most recent self-help book? I love Brene Brown. Pretty much all of her books I've read / listened to. I think she's a fantastic speaker. I feel like she gets incredible points across in a very wonderful way. If you want to check out my Goodreads, you can see all the books that I've read this year. I think I hit 80. I hit 80 books. But that's because I'm counting these ones, which I'll get to. Oh my gosh. Short Stagman said, if you want to get into mystery, you need to read Agatha Christie. I've read one. I've read one of her books. I liked it. Orient Express. Maude, you're the best addition to the break room. I'm just going to read out all the compliments about me now. Maudefest 3000. Christian said, written by the same 2 who wrote the Dragonlance Chronicles, Dark Sword Trilogy, and Rose of the Prophet. Oh, that sounds really good. Stargirl says, I'm more Fae smut, but I'll take Vampire too. Oh, yeah. Fae all day. Fae all day. Oh, thank you, Tass, for changing that. Nerd smut is tight. Great. Oh, choose your words carefully. Kobe says, Maude, what's something interesting you're learning about the mind and stuff in your books recently? I learned about how to prolong the 4 horsemen of death diseases. We need to be eating better, and we need to be doing different types of exercise every day. But we do if you want to live longer and have a better quality of life. The book that I read for that one was called, what was it? I was telling everyone about it. What's it called, Vaden? I know you're looking it up.
Was it the 5 Keys to Mindful Communication?
No, Outlive. Something. Scroll back like 7 books. Outlive. Who's that one by? It's really good. It's basically saying how to stop diabetes, how to stop dementia, how to slow down like blood disease, all the diseases that are likely to get you in your olding age, not a word, olding age, whatever. Short Stack says you have to read And Then There Were None. Tell me about that one, please. Phantom said, I'm still waiting for you and Gina to do a break room together. That would be so awesome. Seriously, I know. They keep putting us on different shows. 1 girl per conversation. Kidding. I love you, new break room. I don't think I'm getting asked back. Shit. That was quick. Yay. Outlive, The Science and Art of Longevity by Peter Attia and Bill Gifford. There it is. Not a butter. Not a butter? That just sounds wrong. It's probably something that Americans eat and it's harmless, but it just sounds funky, doesn't it? Hey, Maude, I remember loving your segments on SourceFed and finding out you were on the break room. It was a very pleasant surprise. There you go. More power.
Nutter Butters are a peanut butter cookie. They're delicious.
I somehow blame Nicki Minaj.
For what?
I'll write it in the I don't even want to write it in the show chat, honestly. I don't. It's all good. Savvy says it's a peanut butter snack cake thing. By the way, if you're under 21, yeah, okay.
It is. I swear to God, it's like a little peanut-shaped cookie, almost like an Oreo. It's fantastic.
Well,
they're delicious.
Okay. Hey, after this, I'm going to be in Burbank where I'm moderating these 2 book launches. Christ. Oh, this one's heavy. This is a big boy. Lore and Legends and Flavors of the Multiverse, which is book 2 of The Hero's Feast. By my friends Michael Whitwer, Sam Whitwer, Kyle Newman, and John Peterson. Actually, I haven't met John yet, so I can't really call him a friend, but I'm just going to say I am. So I'm going to head over to a cool place called Geeky Teas, as in where I'll be moderating a Q&A with Sam, Michael, and Kyle. We're talking about these 2 books. This one came out last month. This one came out yesterday. Can I show you my favorite meal from it? It basically takes you to all the different fictional regions where you can play campaigns of Dungeons & Dragons, and they create and curate a bunch of food, drink, and goodies that you can make. Oh, they're yummy. Where's my favorite, though? It's called... it's based... Oh, here we are. Kenda... Any second now. One more page. Here it is. Kenda Stumble Noodles.
Turn to page 394.
It's basically a glorified mac and cheese. You want to make me happy? Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh, Kenda Thunder Noodles. So there's a bunch of cool things in there, and Lore and Legends, a visual celebration of the 5th edition of the world's greatest role-playing game, talks about the resurgence of it in 2014 and what kind of things have come out since then. Books are really cool. You can grab them on Amazon. I believe they're 20% off at the moment. You heard it here first. Also, support your local and small bookstores. I think we have a link. People are commenting. Christian says, the writers I speak of are Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. In the late 70s, they were playing D&D and were approached to write some books based on the property. They are mentioned in here. Shortstack says, 10 people are mysteriously invited to a house and are slowly killed off one by one. A classic whodunit. There's a reason why Agatha Christie is the queen of mystery. So many modern mysteries use the same premise as And Then There Were None. That is interesting. It's like Clue. We're already 35 minutes into this episode. We have so much to talk about. Thank you, Guy. Very, very sweet of you. Okay, it's time to get cracking. We are going to be talking about Iron Gold. I want to hear first impressions from my Plus members. Who wants to go first? Who wants to talk about your initial thoughts? Brand new book, brand new points of view. Give me some thoughts, Vaden. I saw you unmuted. Don't look over like you're panicked.
All right. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the book. Like normal Pierce Brown stuff. Really well written. Like I love all the little small things he does with the characters. Like they just do all these little tiny things that he adds to each character to make him more fun. Like there was that guy Ephraim was talking to, the merchant, that was putting on his belt or something, or touching his belt, and he like stumbled, and then he actually grabbed onto it. Just all these little tiny things that add character to everyone. So his characters are in general just amazing. You know, very nuanced. Like no one's super evil, no one's super good. They actually feel like real people. And so I love it.
Yes.
Now this book has 4 perspectives of new characters that we see. So I'm enjoying them for the most part. I wish we had. I guess we'll see how it goes to the end. But yeah,
we really do get saturated in a morally grey world. Even the people that were revered and heroes to the masses are not as squeaky clean or sticking by those particular decisions and reputations are getting marred. It's a lot of fun. Who's got some thoughts? First impressions. Nick, are you there?
Yeah, I'm hooked again.
And he's back in.
Yeah, it took me a little bit to get invested in like the new POV characters, especially like Ephraim. It was like you just kind of jumped into like this heist thing, and it seemed like something completely different than the Red Rising series. But
Yes.
once we figured out how he kind of plays into things, I'm enjoying it again, and I can't wait to see how everything kind of like comes together with all the different POVs. So.
And they're already intertwining and we're only halfway through the book. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Tim, you've only read the first 16 chapters and we were reading to 30. So let me hear what you think of the first quarter of the book.
Yes, I know I'm a complete failure.
No, you started. Some people didn't even try.
I'm enjoying it. Typical Pierce Brown, you start off kind of digging in and then all of a sudden it goes really deep for a minute and then it kind of pops back out. So I'm really enjoying so far what I've read. I have some theories about things.
Let's hear them.
I'm sure will come up later. I'm just thinking the Peerless Scarred woman that Lysander rescued, I have a feeling is the Ash Lord's daughter.
Okay.
But I could be dead wrong about that.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm way behind everybody else. So that, and then I'm actually really enjoying the perspective of Lyria. I know you said you weren't, but that was probably more the voice actor.
Correct.
On the page, her chapters are very good.
Right.
They're very action packed and more
Everyone's
so than
nodding along with you.
Yeah, like Darrow, you're kind of like, yep, he's having to play politics again, and that sucks. And then with Ephraim, it's just raw grief. Like it's just raw grief.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of interesting to see Pierce putting these emotions in character form.
Mm-hmm. And expanding the world,
and expanding the universe a lot.
With sort of secondary characters.
Yeah, I had a feeling in Red Rising that Lysander would play a crucial role later on in the story. So having him come back is not all that surprising to me.
Yeah, but he's like a man now, so it's
Yeah, but he is 20 years old now.
Yeah, so that's interesting. A lot of people nodding. Why do I always say nodding? It's like I can't just say nodding. It has to be.
It's okay, Maude. Words are hard.
Well, I just think noddling sounds really cute. It's like it's a smaller nod. Nod's like, but a noddling is like. I think I want the official dictionary people to get on this because it's accurate.
I will call Webster tomorrow.
Thank you. Hey, it was 7 and 9 and 12 minutes ago, but Kieron Zaid, LTIO, Gambit Sky Matvey. Gambit Sky Matvey. Thank you so much for the follows. Really appreciate that. Nodding and yodeling is noddling. Yeah. Yodeling? Yodeling? Yodeling?
I typoed yodeling.
I like yodeling. It's someone that can't yodel, but they're still really enthusiastic. I did that publicly. I don't think I would have if I had known what it sounded like after the fact.
The internet is forever.
Oh, well, that's gonna be a clip. Yodeling, noddling. Fuck yeah, it's a good day to be alive. Who else? wants to talk about the difference of this book. We are 10 years later. We are different points of view. The first trilogy was strictly through Darrow's perspective from 16 to 23. He is now 33. It's very, very different. He's not a good dad. And we've got multiple different points of views. I have read this book already. I read it when I knew I was going to be at the Lightbringer tour with Pierce for a Q&A, and I didn't want anything spoiled for me, so I tried to read as much of it as possible. I got through about 25% of Dark Age, which is the book after this one. So I technically have read all of Iron Gold. It was back in July. I don't recall a lot of it because I was speed reading through this thing, and I also noticed that the stark difference of having Darrow's point of view and only one narrator to having a plethora of different narrators, a couple of them whom I disliked their read intensely, and some who I do not feel did Pierce Brown's words justice. You can just tell that maybe more direction was needed, or maybe someone else was just phoning it in a little bit. Definitely the syndrome of reading words, not telling a story. And that really impacted how I received the first book, to the point where, Will's here. Hello, Will. He said, I feel like that's why I never listen to audiobooks. I do not like that a narrator can break someone else's words. It is a make or break, and that is very testing and trying. And I am kind of a little bit disappointed for a couple of these characters that I don't think got the justice that they deserved through the narrators that we're reading. There are a lot of variables that contribute to how you get narrators. Maybe their audition was great, but the rest of their read was not. Hold on, I have to hydrate. Was I ranting? It's a good way to shut me up. But I will say that when I listened to this book the first time, I really struggled with it. Hence, I bought a copy, and I had huge intentions to read it this time. I only had to stop for Lyria's chapters because I really struggled listening to them. I felt that it was very one-dimensional, and the narrator would kind of make her sound hysterical without ebbs and flows, without beats, without taking a breath. It was just very almost shrieky to me personally. And then Lysander's I had to start reading as well, because it was almost read in one emotion, which was lacking completely. So with that, I will say the first read I struggled, and I don't think I loved it. And now that I've gotten that out of my system, I've made peace with the fact that half of the narrators are great, and I'm going to read the other part. I found this to be a lot more enjoyable. I now know these characters' points of views a lot better, and I'm enjoying the story a lot more this time around. Avery says, I personally love having the points of views of some of the regular people and how they were affected by the events of the first trilogy. That is absolutely what this series, this second iteration. So we've got 3 books for the first trilogy, and then 4 books, which will soon be 5 books to tell the rest of this story. It is 10 years later, and a big part of this is the impact of the decisions made in the first trilogy. There are implications, and we're seeing the ramifications of those. Speaking of, Avery, how are you enjoying Iron Gold so far?
I'm really enjoying it. It took me a bit to get back into it, just because, kind of the same reasons with the other ones, because these books were so heavy, and I was just like not in like a brain space to read heavy books when I started it. But then so I ended up starting using the audiobook and then switching over to the physical copy, which I don't normally do audiobooks, but it for some reason helped me to get into this one, probably because I was doing other things at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm into it again, I'm really enjoying it, and really glad to be back and exploring this world again.
Whose point of view are you appreciating?
I'm really liking Lyria's, and because we really get to see how she was affected by it being in the refugee camps and everything. That's super interesting. Yeah, and then Ephraim, who we kinda like know about. We vaguely, he was like mentioned very briefly in the original trilogy, but getting to see how like all of that was affected him. Plus, I mean, heist stories are always fun, as we all know here. So
6 of Crows.
Yes.
Except he's like 46, so it's definitely a bit different. It's 6 of Crows now.
Lies of Loch Lamora.
Oh, Lies of Loch Lamora. Yeah, still, they're all young and trained. It is interesting having the team assembled and realizing that they are just like barrel scrapers, which is interesting. Nick says it's really interesting to see how different people in this universe feel about Darrow and his actions. Both Lyria and Ephraim have different opinions on him. We are so used to seeing him glorified, revered, honored. Statues are erected in his name. This guy is very flawed as a character. It is interesting to see that his shit does stink to some people. Colleen says so often we don't see how main characters' decisions affect others. You're right. And I think a lot of the time when you look at these big hero stories, it's the lives of family and friends are so much more important than the millions who are affected by war. It's like, as long as my people are looked after, and that's the story and the perspective that you get, it's like, I'm going to fight for the people that I love, my immediate people, my howlers, that's that small clique. But then things like 1 million people died in a war, 10 million people died in a war. And you're like, well, that has massive implications. And I do think that, usually it's the sea of many that are faceless people. He's given them a face and a name. And I think that that's really important, especially when this whole story started off being a caste system. People at the top, people at the bottom. He was at the bottom, got all the way to the top. His wife is at the top of the top. And so you actually have to see how that affects the caste and the people that he was fighting for initially. K. Frito says Darrow is fighting for the Solar Republic. KP Dub says 1 million in the Mercury battle. 200 million in the war so far. I had to double check that number because there's so many zeros on it. Who hasn't told me? Hold on. K. Frida says, how do you feel about your man Cassius in this book? Oh, I hated it the first read. I think it's going to be a bit better this time around. Colleen says, I can't stay, but I wanted to drop by for a while. Well, then give me your thoughts so far. I want to hear what you've been thinking about the first half of the book. Robin, whose point of view are you appreciating? What are you thinking of this new version of Red Rising 10 years later?
I agree with pretty much everybody. It took a little bit for me to get back into it. But then at some point it just hooks you and you're like, oh yeah, now I remember. I am loving Lyria's perspective. I can't wait for her chapters. I look ahead and I'm like, how many more chapters do I have to get through to get to her chapters again? And then I also want Lysander to stop pussyfooting around and just say fear is the mind killer.
Oh, nice. Nice. He is having a little bit of a Paul Atreides moment, isn't he? Nice. Well said. Orkin said, I'm so glad to hear you're a fellow Cassius lover. That'd be my boy. That'd be my boy. I was Team Cassius, and I understand it was Darrow's perspective. Sure, I'll high-five Darrow, but I will nuzzle Cassius. Let me have that. That was PG at best. I was holding back. He is a fictional character. Oh, do we bring up Mustang, Tim? Do we bring up Mustang?
I mean, if you want to bring her up, bring her up. She's kind of queen of everything, so I think I win.
I will say that you can tell with Pierce. Pierce is one of the smartest people I know. He really is. But when he's writing a character that's smarter than him, you can kind of tell that he's wading into almost treacherous waters of trying to navigate the brilliance of that particular person. And it actually made me think every author is really writing within the realms of their brilliance. That's probably the smartest thing I'll say today. Lisa, how are you finding this one?
I am
Jimmy!
really enjoying it.
Sorry.
I'm listening to the audiobook, so I'm having the same struggles you are.
Who are you liking? Who are you not liking?
I do not like Lyria's voice actress, but I'm loving the point of view.
Yeah.
That's some of my favorite bits
Hi,
so
Colleen.
far.
Okay.
I don't really like Lysander's either. And I listen faster than normal, so
And he's
I don't
quite
know.
fast.
Yeah, I don't know
And
how
soft.
it plays out for other people, but it's just like one note, like monotone
It really is.
and
I walk
weird
onto the
pauses.
ship. I walk onto the ship and then I
Yeah.
turn left and then this happens. And then sometimes it'll be quite quiet, but he talks quite fast because I'm listening to it on 1.7 at the moment. But then this is all it is. And even if it's like a strong line of dialogue where someone yells, he will still do it like this. This is the person yelling. I will say though, he did manage to do a South African accent for the Outer Rim. Very mild, but I do appreciate that he had sort of like dexterous nature of his accents and dialects. There was no difference between Lysander and Cassius.
Mm-hmm.
There was no difference between the women and the men. And it got quite confusing. So if you weren't paying complete attention, it was like up to you, the listener, to kind of differentiate between all of that, when that's the narrator's job. Fun fact, he doesn't make it to the second book. They replace him, the voice actor.
Oh geez. Yeah, so I had to speed it up even more than normal towards the end because I was running out of time because, procrastinator. But so I'll probably go back and re-listen to some stuff because
Did
I'm
you think
sure
you
I
missed a
probably
bit? Yeah.
it probably just went like right over. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I've definitely had a couple of times where I teared up and I definitely cried, like full on cried driving on the way home from work today listening.
Which part?
Wolfgar.
I
And
know,
they were
and it's
trying
like
to arrest it. It just hit me like as soon as it was happening, it just started crying. And I was like, oh, I'm driving.
that, you know what? It really made me reflect that particular part. So what happens is, Dance has been quite clever with democracy. He's turning democracy around. Darrow can see the fault in the democracy, which is stop killing our men, stop going to war. We need to band together. And if you keep being a tyrant in this war and doing what you need to do, there will be there will be unrest. And Darrow's reading it as the Ash Lord has somehow predicted this would happen. And as soon as the democracy fights within themselves, the Ash Lord will come in and basically obliterate everyone. So we were this distrust and unrest was feeding into the Ash Lord's plan. And he was like, you don't get war. Like, this isn't fun. And it's like, yeah, but dude, you're sitting at year 10 of war. Like, there's been astronomical losses. When will it stop? Do you even know how to? And it's so fascinating listening to both sides of the conversation and both parties being right. That's what was really hard, because if it was clearly someone in the right and someone in the wrong, you can suspend disbelief and like things will play out. It's like, well, they just didn't get it. But as the reader, where you're like, both are correct, no one wants to continue the war, enough's enough, so many lives have been lost, I totally understand and respect that. But with Darrow saying, until we get out the top echelon, until we can eradicate it, this will never end. And you're like, okay, I also get that. Is Darrow running? Fuck yeah. Darrow's a dad. Darrow has children. He's married to the sovereign. He has so much responsibility now. His presence at home, I think, is something that he does not want to participate in. And I think it's really fascinating seeing Darrow be the most flawed he's ever been. And it's almost really interesting to his character, where he's convinced himself he needs to keep fighting. He doesn't even like being on the road, so to speak. He doesn't necessarily like war, but he can't stop being technically a bad dad. Yes, Tim, you put your hand up. Oh, okay, Frito, your mic's... Oh, no, Eric, your mic's on.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I can say something, but I can also turn off my mic, which I'll do.
I'm going to hear from Tim, and then I want to hear your thoughts on the first half of the book so far.
I was just going to say, Darrow kind of struck me, especially like his first couple chapters, as slowly coming to the same realization that Lorne Arcos came to, and I think Cassius eventually came to, where he's just like, I'm so tired of fighting, and
it
I
doesn't stop.
think
It's
yeah,
cyclical, you know?
and Lorne found a way out. Cassius was sort of gifted a way out, but Darrow really has none. Like, he has to fight until the fight is completely finished.
But then
That's
for
the only out
Dancer,
he has.
for
Is either
Dancer to
death
be
or
like,
winning.
Dancer's known Darrow for half his life. Dancer pushed him into the war to begin with. So it's so interesting having Dancer know Darrow's character better than nearly anyone and reading him to say, I don't think you can stop. A lot of comments coming in. Darren saying all Darrow knows is war. It's hard to turn that off. K. Frida says he's gone. He's gone, girl. Darrow's gone. Nice. We love an in-joke. K. Frida says the enemy can use our democracy against us, and also says Lorne was right. Sprinkle says Darrow is definitely an absent father, probably because war is easier than children raising. You have to understand, Darrow's dad was weak to him. He was fighting for a cause by singing, of all things, but it cost him his life. And so I don't think Darrow ever really forgave his father for partaking in that. But at the same time, he's choosing to opt out of being a dad. This is like probably the most disappointed I've been in Darrow. And straight at the start of the book, you read the room, you get thrust into where they're at 10 years later. They've just come back from Mercury where 1 million people have died. Darrow walks in, his son barely looks at him, addresses him formally, Mustang his wife, who's just wearing the sovereign mask so much that it's hard for her to switch off from that. And then you see Severo with Victra and his girls, and just how they're so family oriented and there's so much love for each other and their bond is amazing, and it's very jilted for Darrow. I think that was actually really heartbreaking for me to read initially. We'd left things on such a wonderful note. We found out he's a father, that Mustang sort of had a child in secret, that they've decided after 3 fucking books that they're going to choose each other. And for me, I'm a romantic. And I was like, yay, they're going to live happily ever. What the fuck? No, they're not. Like, this is really terse. This is not like, oh, we're getting a really hard dose of reality here. Which is interesting. Eric, you've got thoughts. I want to hear them.
Yeah. So actually, to preface, I am very annoyed at the IRS and certain medical doctors for keeping me off this. Every second, I was like, stop putting me on hold. I have a book club to go to. And they kept dropping my calls. But I used them and like, I got all the unpleasant stuff done. And I've got Maude and this actually very, very good book, even though I did like the Stephen King book. And, I bought like the... Well, wasn't a big fan of the dragon one, but anyways, I love this book for a few different, and I think for some reason, I love this book, and I already disagree with some stuff that you said though.
Okay.
I don't think that he likes or is addicted to war. His issue though is that he's not good at anything else, really.
Yeah.
So he wants to make a contribution. He wants help. He's addicted to the cause. The problem is Mustang is really good at like, and she's pretty good at war, but she's really good at everything else.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I want to help, but I don't have any other skills. My one skill is I kill people and I want to help. So I think he'd rather go home. But if he goes home, he's just kind of like, what does he do? He chills and he's like a figurehead. He's a statue.
He's
like
the queen's consort.
He has no other strong skills other than being sort of like inspiring, but his real one skill is, and as somebody who's like, and I'm pretty good at law, but don't always want to be doing the thing I'm probably the best thing at, right?
Yeah,
so he has one way to, his best, and maybe his thing is he just has to figure out other ways to contribute. Because I don't think he does. It's not like Tom Brady where he doesn't want to be a dad, right? The problem is the one thing he's good at always has to keep him on the road. So he has to figure out how to make another contribution that's not just like, being really good at like fighting and killing people.
Baden's hands up. Let's continue the conversation.
Yeah, going on with Eric's point, and with Darrow is like, yeah, he always talks about in the book like his hands are made for like destroying things, for killing.
Yeah.
He never seems to want to be a builder, but it's like that's a skill you learn. Like you can learn to like Robin mentioned in chat, you need to get a hobby. Like it's like just learn how to build. Like you can become that person. Like even if it's not now, he's got his whole life ahead of him. He's 33 years old. Like he's still young. Like he's got plenty of time to become a better person, to learn other skills. And like he doesn't even trust his wife really, which is concerning. Like he's always had a problem being vulnerable and like letting himself go. And he just like understandably he tries to make sure like he doesn't know too much about his plans because she doesn't want her to get like impeached, and because the more she knows, then she can't lie to the Senate about it or his plan. But once she finds out about it, basically, and she asks him specifically, he still doesn't trust her enough to talk to her about it. And at that point, he needed to tell her. He couldn't keep it hidden, and he did, and that also helped lead to the whole Wolfgar incident.
Their relationship's quite fractured. Her hands are tied with democracy, looking out for everyone, not just his interests, but he truly believes that what he's doing is the right thing, and he can't wait for sort of legislation or democracy to catch up with it, which is very hard because this is the thing. Darrow's situating himself above the law. And that moment where he has to, he feels like he has to slaughter Wolfgar. It's that moment where it's like the thing that I'm like most frightened of, like when you're in that situation and you're either not thinking or it gets too intense and you do something and you cannot take it back. And I just think that in that moment, Terry, thank you so much. How was work? Just thinking that when that happens, it's like, he can't come back from that. And he can't be sort of let off the hook for it. He has to be held accountable. And so now he's just like set himself on the path where he has to flee. So the relationship that he has with Mustang's completely fractured. And it's K. Fredo saying, I'm actually missing Mustang's perspective in this, as do I. I kind of miss being in her shoes. And I'm missing the partnership because I just don't feel like there's a partnership here. Whereas Severo and Victra seem to have more of a partnership, even though they can't stop rooting. So funny. Like they're just breeding up a storm. Avery says, I love Severo, but also this man has not matured at all. The fact that he's finding steak in his teeth 3 days later, that he is not bathing, he still 16 years later has not washed the wolf skin. Like, you just know that this guy smells like hot fucking garbage. And it's like,
it'll shrink if he washes it and then it won't fit.
I love Victra, but the more disgusting Severo is, I start to question her. Like, how funky has it got to be downstairs? Like, yeah, that doesn't make sense to me personally. City says, I find myself... He's having a good laugh.
I just fully processed your comment, Maude. It took me a second.
Yeah. Well, I find myself, says City, disappointed in Darrow in Iron Gold. The TV trope's definition of an idiot ball is when a character momentarily acts uncharacteristically unintelligent for plot purpose. But in this case, it feels more like Darrow has swallowed the ball instead of dropping it. After all the progress his character made from Golden Sun to Morning Star, it's very disappointing to see him regress so much. I will say, City, for it to make a little bit more sense, it would be better to see what happened in that 10 years instead of us being thrust into in 10 years and then this seeming like it's reckless. It's like, do we have enough sort of information on what went down in the last 10 years for him to, is it the fact that he is just fed up? And he doesn't want to keep waiting, and it just needs to strike while the iron's hot. He wants for it to be done once and for all, and is willing to kind of like, I mean, we saw that all through the trilogy. He was willing to kind of like bend/break rules, find loopholes just to get the job done and to get it done quick. Hey, Silk, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. Tim says, it's interesting that Darrow's weapon of choice was a sling blade, which is also a tool for growing, and he's moved so far away from that. Well, so only read 16 chapters, but still came in with the goods for that comment. Terry says, I missed the first hour because I was listening to the last 2 chapters. Terry, give us your thoughts. What are you thinking thus far? City says, Darrow spent all of Golden Sun trying to accomplish his goals on his own to his ultimate failure, and then spent Morningstar building back better and working as a part of the wolf pack, that is him and his friends. And now he's back to alienating the people that he should be relying on the most, and I find it disappointing. I think we're supposed to feel frustrated. So that's on point. Vaden says, we all make mistakes. Sometimes we say things we don't mean. With Darrow, sometimes he stabs a friend in the face. Tiri says, I can't complain. I'm working, but frankly, pretty chill. I'm going to go in graveyard shift for the next 2 weeks. As someone that has done a graveyard shift once every 2 weeks, doing radio voluntarily, it was not fun. I think it's actually better doing it every single night instead of every now and then, because it just disrupts your sleeping patterns. But anyway. All right, so let's talk about these 4 characters and the trajectory that has happened in parts 1 and then parts 2. Part 1, we've got Darrow. Obviously, he and Severo and several others from the 7th Legion return home to Luna from a triumphant, weary, year-long mission to Mercury. For those that want to know, I'm using the Red Rising fandom page to get these points in because I really like their summaries. I didn't want to have to repurpose it myself. It ended with an iron rain that liberated the planet. Mustang greets her husband formally, whereas Victor and Severo, who are married, greet more informally and more intimately. Make sure you mute, by the way, Eric, when you're not talking. Darrow makes the announcement to the Republic that Mercury is now liberated and that the Ash Lord's fleet have retreated. The High Color Senators cheer while dancers Vox Populi and Sephi and her Obsidians stand silent. Darrow petitions for a final battle against the Ash Lord at Venus to fully liberate the core. Dancer motions against it, stating his disapproval of the Iron Rain on Mercury. He brings in Julia Al Bologna, stating that the Ash Lord wished for peace before the Iron Rain, a fact that Darrow did not disclose to Virginia. Darrow admits that the Ash Lord had sent Julia and Asmodeus to his ship, but he claims that it was a ruse. He also now knows that a mole from his group sent Dancer this information beforehand. Who do we think the mole is? It has to be a Howler. I feel like so many Howlers have already left and there's only a few that we know. Has anyone got an inkling onto who the rat is? Nah, we're all scratching our heads. It's pretty shit.
I mean, it could be anybody who was in the battle group, right? Technically, or was it Howlers you can find it in?
It was Howlers exclusively who are in on that plan.
Okay.
Yeah. And the Howlers are built so much on loyalty. They went through a hazing process. It's like a badge of honor to don the cloak. So it's quite interesting. What are you thinking, Vaden?
I gotta guess. I think even though it's kind of a long shot, I'll guess Victra. And the reason why is because she tried very hard to talk to Darrow to convince Severo not to go through with this whole crazy plan. Mm-hmm. So like she kept trying to talk to him, and she was part of the Howlers at least for some point. So I don't know if she's privy to the information. So that's the person I can think of that was really strongly against this and had a motivation.
Alrighty, we got Victra. We'll see. Stay tuned next week to find out. When Darrow is escorted out by Wulfgar, Severo follows, allowing Darrow to send for the Howlers. While under house arrest, Regulus, our son, arrives, and Darrow asks for his fastest ship. Oh, Ag. The Silver. Why don't we just call him Quicksilver? Asks for his fastest ship, the Nessus, to make his escape. Doing so with Thraxa, Al Telemanus, Rona, and Alexander, Al Arcos. Now, Alexander seems to be the Cassius. What's that word when you're intern? He seems to be like a Cassius intern. So he's like in training to step up into that role. Very much having the same mentee. Yeah, that works too. Having that sense of honor, sense of dignity, being, very, very gold. But what's interesting about Alexander is that he is Lorne Al Arcos' oldest or only remaining, which one is it, oldest? Grandson. So has that legacy that he needs to withstand, which is exactly the same as Cassius as well. Honor and reputation and legacy and name was protege. I like that too. Protege is good. But it's interesting because, like, I honestly feel like the Alexander is because without him, it would have felt lacking. Cassius was such a prominent part of the trilogy that to have him in this capacity, I have found it to be a little arduous. It's like his wings got clipped, Cassius, you know. He yesed him. I might be spoiling a little for you.
Just a short aside. I likened Cassius in this book to sort of John Little and Robin Hood, in like him and Lysander are just kind of out in the woods helping where they can help.
Yeah.
Yeah. That just kind of seemed like that kind of character to me. I don't know if it'll stay that way, but that's kind of where they were at.
Well, they have no house to fly back to. Sorry, Eric, you go.
I was gonna say, here reminds me of I didn't even watch Game of Thrones that much, but what was the super old best fighter who was he was like the best fighter guy, and he wanders off in the desert with Jaime. I think of them as, or the really really good fighter.
The one who wanders off with Jaime was Brienne of Tarth.
Or no, the really really good male fighter.
Oh, Bromley. Bronson.
Yeah. Sir you know, like he reminds me of that. Or it could be Jaime. I don't know, some mix of it. This, you know what I mean? Where they just get Jaime also works too, right? Where he's this like grizzled, and he's
actually, I think, a much better. Yeah, because he was disowned, discarded. He has legacy. His name, you know, holds a lot of weight, but without your family or in different terrain, like, you don't have that same weight. It doesn't have the same weight behind it. So yeah, and I think that's really sad for Cassius. And I know that, I think it was Pierce that said that he was contemplating killing Cassius at the end of Morningstar, and so he didn't really know what to do with Cassius as a role. But because Lysander was going to live, it made sense that he, having understood that pretty much his family was killed by the Jackal, put it on himself to raise Lysander. But the problem is, without a home, having to fly under the radar. You're right. They do, you know, small things where they rescue people from pirates, and they, you know, basically do soul cleansing things.
Yeah, he strikes me though as the most classically romantic solo hero. You know, it could be like Han Solo. He's the one. So in that sense, while if you were in his shoes, it would be very difficult to be him. It's also the most fun, you know, like classically heroic character.
But I feel like it's not actually serving a purpose. He's not fulfilled by this at all. There's just nothing else to do. He wants, you know, he's always been an inherently lawful good kind of guy. So he wants to be able to use his skill set to be able to help others. But without having sort of like a home or a name and having to hide who he is, it's taking its toll. So the fact that...
Yeah, just clarify. I didn't mean fun for him. I meant fun for us.
Oh, but I don't. I think it's dulled his shine. No, I think that he's... You know, he was literally the freaking sun to me, and now he's like, you know, a passing shadow in the night.
I like him way more like this, but that's just me. I thought he was so pompous before. Now he's attractive to me.
Oh, that's so interesting, because I feel like, you know, he was trying so hard to stand for something, and now he's just sort of been discarded. And the fact that, you know, he's drinking in the morning as a coping mechanism, like, this is kind of eating him up in the inside as well. So I don't want to see my boy, you know, cope with whatever sadness or unfulfillment that he has. But because he said he would help, he's doing it. He's, you know, raising Lysander. And so he's trying to use sort of his word to mean something still. But yeah.
That might just be me that has a weak spot for these like Han Solo underdog types, especially when they are underdogs rather than holding all the cards all the time. But I totally agree with you that from a first person perspective, yeah, it's not fun to be him.
Well, you have to look at what their motivation is, and Han Solo owes a debt. So he's like forced to take these jobs. I see Ephraim to be Han Solo in 15, 20 years, you know, from the OT. I find that Cassius, like, he's a fallen goddamn angel for me, I think. City says Cassius was raised with a certain idea of what honor means And having been disillusioned to that, he's now playing knight errant, trying to find his own definition of what honor means. He's lost. Absolutely. And his honor was his word, and he said he would help, but like it's at the cost of his entire life. This is a man who lived in luxury. He had the world at his fingertips. So I think it's just such a fallen, like, yeah, he's just such a fallen sort of angel, my boy. And I actually miss his point of view as well. So for me, it's kind of like, oh, great. I'm so glad we've got Lyria, the red, who's, you know, we kind of understand all of that. But at the same time, I'm like, where's my Mustang? Where's my Cassius? Where are my big hitters who had such a empowering and huge space in that original trilogy? Like, I want to continue that journey with them. And I almost had to mourn those characters to get these sort of like secondary characters' point of view and have their perspective like adjacently update me on my favorites, which was a little bit hard for me, I'll say. I find I like had to like they almost had to prove this. I'm like, why do I care about you? Who are you? What's your big story? Why are you more entertaining? Go on. What are you gonna do? Like, I really kind of felt defensive for my originals. K Frito said I felt that. Yeah. Darren says I like the new characters more. I kind of wish there were no Darrow chapters. Oh, get the fuck online and tell me why. Whoa, I did not see that coming. He jumps online straight away. Go on.
Especially summoned him.
I did. I literally summoned him. Thoughts?
I was just about to hop back in. So, yeah, I like all the new characters better. And I kind of wish that there wasn't Darrow chapters. The Darrow chapters just feel like more the same. And I felt like, you know what? We had those 3 books. They're done. I want to see the world that they created through the regular people who are living in it. So it's just sort of like, oh yeah, it's just more of Darrow doing Darrow things.
But even more
I don't
flawed.
really need that. Oh yeah, he definitely is. But I also like the writing styles of the other characters better. I feel like Pierce does a good job of having them feel different in feeling in their mind. And Darrow's is very abrupt. It's very sort of jerky with a lot of very short, like stop and go sentences.
So
that I
commanding.
feel like the other ones,
yeah.
But like I guess I want to see more of. I feel like we get more of what the world is better through the other characters than through Darrow.
Well, Darrow has such severe tunnel vision at this stage that we're not really getting
broken.
Yeah, we're not really getting a grasp on anything else but his way. Like Darrow is the freaking highway at this stage, where you just got to get on for the ride, or you know, you're in his way. Avery, you said okay, I kind of agree with that. What are you thinking with less Darrow and more secondary characters building out a more realistic version of the world, less sugarcoaty?
So like the original trilogy, obviously, like it needed that core set of characters and it needed like that to focus on the story that was trying to be told. But with this like expanded series, it's trying to expand on the world. It's we're being shown like the different societies, the different cultures, the ways different people were affected. And by staying with Darrow, it's almost taking away from that, because it makes like it makes you want to know, like you root for Darrow because you have rooted for Darrow so long that it's hard to like stop. But then you see all these other characters like suffering because of the things Darrow is doing, and I think it takes away from those characters' points of view. Because we're also attached to Darrow, because we've been with him so long. I think it'd be better for him to just like not be from his point of view, but him like show up every once in a while. Like it'd be from the point of view of like somebody else in the government, or a different Howler or something. It's kind of like how extended universe Star Wars is better when it's not about the Skywalkers.
I was actually going to bring Star Wars in as a great example of that, because it's like High Republic is a whole new clean slate, same universe, but hundreds of years later. So it's like any of the characters that we had an affinity for don't exist, and we have to build rapport from the ground up. I think the reason why transitioning into different Star Wars properties works is because you do have a few tentpole characters that we know, that can kind of like ease us into the next phase, which is sort of what Darrow is doing at this stage. Will is saying, I like Darrow doing Darrow things though. But Darren's saying that his chapters kind of seem out of place so far in the book in terms of feel. Yeah, because he's the epitome. Like he's the, if you live long enough, you see yourself become the villain of your story. That's what we're seeing with Darrow. Like he spent all the last before 10 years being the hero, but he stuck around long enough to start, you know, being the villain of his own story. And I think because we know him so well and we were there for that entire journey, this transition that he's demonstrating, I want to smack him. I want to be like, what are you doing? Your son's at home. Your wife's, you know, in this position of power. Stop being so reckless. Stop thinking that you know best, you know. Lean on the other people. Did you learn nothing? Will says, I think that's part of the point though, which is showing the different sides of the reality of command versus what the public perception is. I did kind of fantasize of a version where we got Cassius's point of view, Mustang's point of view, maybe a Telemanus's point of view, characters that we kind of fell in love with and learnt about in the original trilogy, but we got to walk in their shoes for a little bit. I think the fact that it is brand new characters from different class systems, from who were mentioned once or twice and now are characters again, like that was me going, okay, you have to kind of earn the fact that we're hearing your story. I'm getting a little bit better with that this second read through, but it was really jarring for me where I was like, but you got so many cool ones to choose from. What are you why are we doing Ephraim when we could be doing, you know, finally several Victra? Oh my God, give me a goddamn Victra chapter. How cool would that be? What it's like. She can't see her feet at the moment because she's so goddamn pregnant. Like, cool. I want to know about that. Maybe supporting characters to Darrow so we don't have to necessarily be so focused on Darrow. For me, I did wonder if it was so far away from our tentpole character with a lot of these other characters, if it was too much. I think because it was a time jump and then it was a character point of view jump, was that too much? Eric, I swear to God, I'm going to have to get you to mute when you're not doing it because I hear little bleeps every time talks and it does my head in. Sorry. I could say things kinder. I really could. I could be better about that. Jimmy says, take notes, Pierce, if you're watching. No, Pierce, don't watch this. I'm not even telling it to your face. I haven't even spoken to you about this. Please don't be watching. You did it again!
I'm so sorry. Well, I keep trying to. I gotta turn off my bleep noise because I keep thinking it's a good time to talk, and then realizing it's not a good time
that's
to
a
talk,
battle.
Which is why you keep hearing the bleeps. Because I'm like, oh, I don't want to cut Maude to make another good point.
Actually, that's a really good point. We'll get. It helps if you want to stay muted and you raise your hand, and then that could be the good. Yeah, let's do that. That's a good way to do it because those bleeps. What is that noise? Is it so when someone's typing in the Discord? What is that?
I'll try to turn off my bleeps. But do you mind if I reply to the point about the characters?
Yes. I don't mind. Sorry. No, I don't mind.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Sorry, you got my bleeps, I guess. No, so my favorite character, I think, because she's my kind of gal, is Mustang. And I actually, I'm not that big a fan of the secondary characters, but from my perspective so far, I have a kind of I really like this book so far. I have a political interpretation, which I'll share more later. But Mustang, I think she actually gets really good treatment. And it's better to not show, because she's the sovereign. She's the master of like 2/3 of this universe. It's actually better to show her character, not from her dealing with stuff from her first person thing, but from the impact and all the pressure of society. So in a way, like, oh, do I really care about Ephraim? Do I really care about, like, not them as people, but viewing it politically as Mustang subjects, where Mustang has failed them by accident, or, you know, created all the problems she has to deal with, right? So in that sense, they are like because she rules the universe. It's actually cooler to see like
the implications
how
of
she's
it.
doing from because
I know, because it'll cut to Mustang and it'll be like, I did another mountain of paperwork today, and you're like,
100%.
KP Dubs, I really want to talk about your comment saying, no. I think that the 3 other points of views were strategically chosen by Pierce and they are the perfect choices. Pray tell.
Well, we see a former war hero who got into the war because his partner died rescuing Darrow. So he got in for the cause, but after seeing death after death and the grief is still with him, he's very disillusioned. So we got somebody who sort of hates Darrow from that way. We got Lyria, who is that low red, who was freed, and yet where is this freedom? Where's this equality that's been promised? It's 10 years later, and they're still not seeing any of it. And then the son of the ex-sovereign, or the grandson, basically the next heir, who's now has no family because they were killed in front of him. We're seeing that point of view. So these, I think, are all the perfect points of view to watch what Darrow's doing and to judge him the best. Yeah, it'd be nice to see Cassius and Mustang, but they're going to have a bias towards Darrow even if they don't agree with him. These people have no bias towards Darrow. Like, they're very, very free to hate him and to see how everything has failed in the last 10 years. And I kind of agree with, I forget who said it, but like the Darrow chapters are very boring to me. It's the same old, same old. But I do think his reactions are mostly coming from the points of the PTSD he suffered. His dad died in front of him. And if I remember the first book, very first couple of chapters, he didn't cry. The rest of the family cried and he didn't. Then he had to pull the legs of his wife to kill her. Then he died himself, really. He was getting hanged. Then he was tortured in the box. So, I mean, he's messed up. There's nothing left in his brain that's worthwhile. And he literally and figuratively does not want to be in a box. So stop laughing at the cat, Maude.
I think it was a dog. That was a dog.
Yeah, it was a dog. Sorry.
That was a dog.
He doesn't want to be boxed in politically or even figuratively, and
Especially
so
literally, yeah.
literally, yeah. But so he's like, no. They're trying to like make me do this thing, and I can't have that. I got to do my own thing and stay free. And I think it all boils back down to all the torture and everything he's gone through.
Which is interesting because he's not realizing that. We've only got his point of
Right.
view, and he's not self-aware enough to be like, you know, I'm pretty broken. I need a hug. Like, life's not great for me. I've gone through a lot of shit. Except for that one time where he was going to get arrested and he's like, I cannot even be in a jail cell. The fact that I would be trapped, that's the catalyst that spurns him into action to kill Wolfgar and set this like whole domino effect of catastrophe that he cannot come back from and cannot undo. Sorry, hold on. Have you read that part, Tim? Shit.
That's 20.
Ew.
It's okay. I came into this knowing there were probably going to be first half spoilers, so I'm okay with it.
Okay.
And at the rate I'm going, by the time I get there, I'll have forgotten it happened.
Darren asked, was Wolfgar in the previous books? I don't think he was he? New character.
I think he's mentioned like on this aside, as an aside.
He's kind of what Ragnar would have continued being if Pierce didn't kill Ragnar.
Yeah.
He gets killed again.
It's the obsidian side of things. But you know, like still the obsidian that has honor, not the like the Reaver-esque obsidians that are going around eating fucking people. Christ. Like, calm down, obsidians. And then you've got Volga, the crow, who love her. And I love KP Dub's notes in Fable where it's like, Volga's amazing, we must protect her at all costs. Oh, this means Pierce is going to kill her. And it's not an if, it's a when. Yeah, it's a when. So yeah, but it's very interesting to see how like she was a test tube baby. She was raised in a lab, and because she was too short, she got at 6'5", she got sort of like thrown away. I keep quoting Super Ted, which is a British afternoon, like the 5-minute cartoon shows that we got in Australia. And his origin story is that he was a teddy bear, but he was made with a defect. And so they threw him away like a piece of rubbish. Someone will find the trailer. We'll put it in the show chat. But that's essentially what Volga was. And Volga's so sweet. She doesn't spend her money. She's happy to be a part of the team. She's a bit of a puppy-eyed sort of like gets struck by Ephraim's depression. Like Ephraim takes it out on her. And she just keeps, Tate the Aussie goes, yes, Super Ted! Yay! Even if I get one, I still get one. Yeah, it's just like such a weird dynamic. I remember when I first was reading this the first time around a couple of months ago, I was like, Ephraim, I don't like being in your shoes. It is not a fun place to be. He's a drug addict who's trying to numb all emotion because he's so sad. His grief has consumed him. And there is a point where he's trying to end it all. And then he gets roped back into the game deeper than ever. Ephraim needs a hug even more than Darrow. I mean, there is this bleak sort of like, yeah, it doesn't matter sort of what caste system you're in. There is such a bleakness that I think Pierce is trying to get across, where it's like, even Cassius has his demons, you know, even when he was on the top of his game. There are so many things. Like the Reds have got it really bad. You're like, oh, the Red Hand vigilante sort of, you know, terrorist people came down and killed all my family, so I had to dig through bodies and I found my sister and her children dead. And you're like, okay, so a Red's bad day is pretty fucking bad. Like, it's real bad. A Gold's bad day is, I think my brother's a psycho. I think my brother is deranged and he's probably going to blow up a planet. There's different ways around it. Eric, did you have a thought? I saw a bit of a hand.
Yeah, I think Volga, or I hope, but I think Volga will live because I'm not a big fan of Ephraim at all, but I think Volga is his conscience. And I mean, again, I'm viewing this quite politically, and most Obsidians are kind of in a very unsure, you know, they're like, because they're dumb or they're smart and they realize they were used as thugs. Whereas Volga actually believes in the Republic, right? She had the one line where she's like, hey, like, and I did not expect that from her, right? I thought she'd just be like a puppy or she's protecting him. I didn't think she had political opinions, right? But she's like, hey, like, is this going to screw over the Republic? And Ephraim does not give a crap, right? No. But he has to make an excuse like, oh, well, you know, it'll all work out. What difference can we make anyways, right? So I think she's going to live. I hope.
I do too. I like the fact that it's her, it's Ephraim's moral compass, you know, like he almost needs her around to stabilize himself. I mean, this guy was digging himself a hole to begin with, and he just found the basement in the hole. Like, he's so far into the game. I do want to, we've only got half an hour left. I want to kind of let Volga live, says K Frito, and Sprinkles. We got a hashtag going. I always thought it was VOLGA. Is it VU? Is it? It looks way too close to vulva.
It's O, yeah.
Okay, it is O. Okay, that's probably why we had that same train of thought. Sudi says Volga with an O. Okay, so what happened with Lyria? We are introduced to Lyria, a low red of Lagalos, a former Gamma from the mines. She's been moved with her family into one of the assimilation camps on the surface of Mars where they live in poverty. Oh, it's not a fun place to be. But I also noticed that the less you give, the happier you are with the smallest things. A tiny piece of chocolate after dinner, it's a good day. You know, so there's always something quite beautiful about that perspective. When the Red Hand arrives, now we caught the Harmony reference there. It's Harmony leading the Red Hand. The scarred up woman who comes in with the terrorist. She's been angry since day one. So for those that need a little bit of a recap, when it was revealed that Ares, the son of Ares, or the actual Ares, was a gold. What's his name again? Ares. What was Ares' name? Fitchner. When it was discovered and revealed that Fitchner, a gold, was leading the son of Ares, she felt so slighted by that. She thought that it was a red. She was convinced that it was this red uprising, and the fact that it was led by a gold, shit hit the fan with her. So angry. So she's literally started this terrorist organization. Now, why they are going in to kill all the Gammas and eradicate her own class, I don't know. But at this stage, I don't think we're supposed to, because Harmony's batshit. Yes, Tim. Yes.
Clan warfare at this point with the Red Hand, because they're killing the Gammas, which are a different mining clan than. And I think part of it has to do, and I could be wrong, but has to do with the clan that Darrow came from versus the other Red clans.
Yeah, because she's still shitty at. She's still shitty at Darrow. Because she didn't kill him. He didn't kill himself on her order.
I thought the Gammas are sort of because they were kind of the top in many, so they're viewed as like the Vichy collaborators in some sense.
Got
so
it.
They're kind you know how at the end of if you collaborated with the enemy, and then
Yeah,
you're
right, yeah.
especially in for bad. So I think some of them are viewed especially like that.
Darren just said exactly that. The Gamma were the higher up Red clan. KP Dub says the Gammas were the ones that always got the laurel due to the cheating. So they were like, yeah, feeding out of the gold's hands, and that's unacceptable. But it's just so devastating, sort of like the impact of all of it. Lyria witnesses her brother Tyron's death. She flees to try to get the rest of her family out, but when she arrives home, she informs her older sister Ava and her father of Tyron. Lyria tries to take her father with her. She's got to leave him. He's disabled. It's a dead weight. When you have to survive, you got to leave those who cannot look after themselves behind. She then parts with Ava to fetch her blind nephew Liam at the infirmary while her sister takes the rest of the children to escape up north. In the madness that has overtaken the camp, Lyria arrives at the infirmary, takes Liam with her to escape the camp. They eventually exit through a gate to hide in the garbage of the dump site. I could smell this place. And there's like this buzz, this low hum of all the insects that are just feasting on blood. Ew, ew, ew. While they hide, Red Hand soldiers massacre Gammas and light the garbage dump on fire, which forces those hiding to escape the approaching flames. When Lyria and Liam and other refugees approach the northern river, 20 Red Hands with automatic weapons open fire on the crowd. I will say that with the world events happening right now, this was actually pretty hard to read. Because this is supposed to be a very extreme version. This is supposed to be something that wouldn't happen to us, I'd hope, but it is at the moment. It is actually a stark reality that's happening. And 3 months ago when I was listening to it, I was like, oh, this is rough. Listening to it now, I almost needed like a trigger warning. Like it's quite tough. Eric.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's a historical reference. Look up the Sabra and Shatila refugee camps in Lebanon, part of the same conflict, but in the 80s. And Ariel Sharon was the leader of and so it was. Yeah, there's deep politics in that, but it was Lebanese partisans who were affiliated with this and who was bad.
Yeah, so it's like I'm always sort of in denial that these things are happening because it hasn't directly impacted me. But this is a thing where it's like, you know, even if you stick your head in the sand, this is something that is a reality for a lot of people. Avery said, yeah, I cried my way through this chapter. It was tough. And it's in the headlines right now. So I will skip that little bit because we all read it. Basically, Kavax, you can just sort of see this savior, this bright orange suit just catapult down, take out a few people, and then falls into the ocean or the river, sorry. And because he's wearing a really thick metal armor, he just bloop right to the bottom. And it's Lyria, this tiny little girl who I think comes up to his like hip bone, maybe, devises a plan to kind of rescue him and pull him out of the water. And obviously Kavax is very grateful to her. When it's time for him to leave, Lyria pleads with him to take her and her nephew away from Mars as they've got no reason to stay there anymore. The soft-hearted Kavax, with the help of his pet Sophocles, which is a quote that I want to read as well because there's this really beautiful moment that Kavax has, makes a way for them to come aboard. Lyria as a valet for House Telemanus, much to the dismay of his daughter Zana. Now, if you go into the document, Vaden, did a really great job of writing down some quotes. And one of them that I love is, sometimes, little one, it's best if the world thinks you're a little mad. He winks. Not me. Inspiring what they'll let you get away with. So that's a beautiful sort of reference to the trilogy that we've had where he'll hide jelly beans and let Sophocles the fox make it. What? Are you jealous? Because I'm talking about a fox. I still love you. Yeah, that he's just basically feigning madness to sort of get his way. It's out of his hands, Zayden. I didn't even think that Vaden with an X is Zayden. Oh, dear.
Come on.
Vaden is Zayden's brother. All right, so moving back to the storyline, I think Lyria's arc is really interesting. She's literally in a war-torn country where she's losing her entire family in front of her eyes. She's experiencing shock, trauma, devastation all at once. But you can tell she's a survivor, and she has managed to kind of go to lean into Kavix for help. And then in part 2, you see her experience sort of like gold adjacent life. So she's gone from having absolutely nothing to having everything. I would have thought we would have got a little bit more of survivor's guilt from Lyria, because she absolutely had nothing and she had to adapt really quickly. And the only real thing we've had to see her learn isn't learning manners or how to integrate, even though she kind of berates herself from like being a little bit rude and swearing somewhat in conversation. The fact that she can't read. That's like the main thing we've got to deal with. Neither could Feyre. Did you get that moment? She can't read? Oh, okay, it's very Feyre. There's a couple of things from different books that we've read that I'm like, oh, it's making a little cameo in this storyline. I want to know from the people that have really been enjoying Lyria's chapters, what is it about her journey that you've been appreciating? Robin, I'm going to go with you because you've been unapologetically a Lyria stan.
I just like that it's showing the fallout from their actions in the last books, and that it does seem like they set everyone free and then just were like, nope, we don't need to do anything else. They're good now.
Yeah. I just have my baby right now. I'm just holding my baby. Do you like the chapters? You can't read. Who else is liking Lyria's journey so far, Tim?
I haven't read all of it, but to me it's interesting showing that dichotomy. Like, we've freed the slaves, but they're still not equal, right? Like, it's very much they like, here, now you can go to the surface of Mars where it's been, terraformed and you can live and breathe and all of that, but you're still going to live in squalor and your life is going to be shit. And we're not really, like, we're going to say we're going to do all this stuff to help you, but we're also fighting a 10-year-long war, so there's really no resources to actually help. And I think that's interesting, and it also lends a lot of weight to the things that Dancer is doing in the Senate.
Yes,
as kind of
it
a
validates.
representative of the red people. I just like it. I think it's a great choice by Pierce to do that, and the way he's done it so far in the book that I've read has been really good.
You're right, though. It does sort of like see what Dancer, like, again, it validates his point completely, where you're like, he's not wrong. And he is the voice of the people, and he's got more of a finger on the pulse on what's actually happening. It's very reminiscent of trying to roll out legislation for poverty-stricken and underfunded and under-resourced communities, where it's like, you can say you're going to help and change and fix things, but when it's been a generational issue, it is so hard to just come in, click your fingers, and make things better again. Like, it's really, really difficult. Yes, Tim?
I was going to also add that for most of the upper colors, life hasn't changed, right? Like, the golds are still the golds, and they have all the same benefits that they had under the society that they now also have in the Republic. So the only people that life has actually changed for are the low colors, the reds and the grays and the browns and such. Like, the low colors are the only ones that have had to adjust to a completely new paradigm.
Well, you also see, my brain's so foggy at the moment because I've got a cute dog in my lap and I just want to give her smooches. You see the prejudice that's happening. Ephraim goes into a store that has a sign out the front saying no reds, no rosters, no crows. They are still, and I think it's really hard to do, even though you're breaking the chains of the structure, there is still generational prejudice of the colors, where it's like, if you are a crow, you will break things, and if you are a ruster, which is a derogatory term, you will steal it. I don't make the rules, that's just what it is. And I think it's great that we see Ephraim be like, no, my colleague is going to come into this shop because she likes toys, and that's enough, and you're going to be happy that we are patrons. Cash22 says it's very pre-civil right movement. You're exactly right. And I think it was really important as well for Lyria to explore this new world on her own and also come face to face with a fucking Karen. This gold, like, it is the most Karen moment ever. It is them, and I'm going to call my friend, the senator, to make sure that they'll get fired, and I will take any little thing that this person has worked their entire life to get. I will take it out with a phone call because I feel personally slighted. You're just like... And so for Lyria, she's like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I'm so shocked. I can't take my hands out of my pockets and there are guns drawn on me. So it's very much, you know, we look at why there was an entire racial movement with Black Lives Matter because of police prejudice. Like, we are experiencing that through Lyria, which I, again, think is a really important perspective to have that we haven't had with just Darrow, because he, becoming a gold within the first third of the first book, gained absolute privilege. And, you know, so it's like a reminder that that is still a massive reality for the rest of the people. Also, we're starting to see Lyria and her innocence, but she's moving in circles of bigger pictures. So we knew about the Talamances before. So the fact that she's working with them is one thing. She's rubbing shoulders with a copper horticulturalist who's working with the Talamances, who's like manufacturing or tinkering with a flower's genetic code to become a weapon, depending on, I think there was a big chapter about that. So I'm like, all right, first it was the Hemanthus flower. Now I think that this night lily that Lyra's known about, that seems like a little foreshadowing to me. But we haven't got up to that part yet. Lyra meets who we discover to be Ephraim. Did you guys put 2 and 2 together for that one? Because we learn about... Oh, you didn't? Well, it was right there.
I was assuming it was him, but I thought maybe I missed it because that's the part that I was like speed reading through.
So Philippe rescues Lyra from the police and from that, you know, injustice. They have a conversation. Because it's Lyra's chapter, you only get Philippe from her perspective, but then he slips some important information, and this is a locket around his neck of his ex-fiancé, a man. And the only other character that we've really established in this book that married a man was Trig and Ephraim. So, spoiler, Robin! I just told you what that is. KPW says, that was really cool seeing one of our point of views from another point of view, especially knowing Ephraim's past. So Ephraim, sorry. Lyria is innocent. She's trying to find a new life. Ephraim's the other way. He was on top of the world. He was in love. He had sort of everything in his small world, and that all unraveled. And the actual pickpocket is also part of Ephraim's crew, says Darren. Yes, I believe it was the red. What's his name? The guy who's like barely 50 kilos. Dano. Yeah. Yeah. So he's got his ensemble. One thing I really do love about this is that even though we have got the one story from different perspectives, we have a different genre in Ephraim's point of view. This is a heist. He's assembled his team. We understand that he steals things. He's been tasked with this mission that we'll get to in the second half of the book. But I do think it's interesting that we actually have a bit of a little subgenre moment within this book. We haven't really seen sort of like an executed heist in this capacity. We've seen it when it's a mission with the Howlers with an objective. So it's a little bit more sort of like a soldier agent sort of task feel. But this is very blue collar, which is quite interesting. We don't know what they're stealing yet, right? We do not, Darren. We do not know what they're stealing yet. KBW says, yeah.
I was just going to say, I want to plead stupid because I didn't connect it with Ephraim. Because he seems so much happier in those scenes, that it seems like a distinct character, right? He's like this happy, urbane, you know, so he's gay and he has a husband. I thought it was some other random, I didn't realize,
What threw it off for me the first time is that Lyria, being young herself, says that he's so old. And Ephraim's like, I'm only 46, you know, and for us, it's like he's only 46. But for Lyria,
So
it's
I
like
thought it
he's
was-
so old.
I thought it was going to develop into like maybe a slightly like May September, where I was getting, oh, is he trying to take it, kind of like, is he trying to like make her into his like little like protege / concubine until he reveals that he's gay, right? No, that was getting sort of those vibes a little, right? He was sort of like, it looked
Yeah.
like he was, yeah.
He's a human
But-
trafficker. Sorry to spoil that for everyone.
No, I mean, I feel like if I was smarter, I should have put it together.
I got you. I didn't get it the first time. You're exactly right. I thought he was like an old man, but then I thought it was like a Kaiser Soze kind of thing where it's like, he just stopped limping and you're like, oh, it's a completely different person. But Ephraim, this guy's circling the drain. He's very, very depressed. He's stealing for a living. He's using drugs to Maude, spoil things? Never, says K Frito. Hold on, I've got a couple more comments here. KBW, so what's this awesome prize that Ephraim has to steal? Predictions? Oh yeah, any predictions? I know, but I'm exempt from answering. I've already spoiled half of it anyway. Haha. Predictions?
I don't know at all, but I'm wondering if he's got to steal Pax, Darrow's kid.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking maybe it's a person, not a thing. So that would make sense.
Good guesses? Any more guesses?
I don't know why, but I kind of took a stab that it was really important, the scepter. But maybe that was kind of silly.
From the previous job?
No, the symbol of power, like the grand, like
the sovereign scepter.
Sovereign scepter.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. I don't have a poker face, so we need to move past this conversation real quick. Robin says, I kept getting confused on where all the characters are. I thought that Ephraim was on Mars for some reason, so that's why I didn't even think it was him. Are they all on Luna? The moon? Yeah, okay, cool. Avery says, Reds have kids at like 16, and Lyria's like, he's older than my father. Yeah, because her father was like 30. 32 tops. But again, he was like a vegetable. So I thought, again, that he was like 80. Is that inappropriate, Vaden? You keep laughing when I say things. He is, though.
Darrow and his crew are on Earth for that prison break. And they spend part of it in Canada.
Oh, really? I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, well, they're on Baffin Island, which is a humongous, empty, but technically Canadian territory right by close to Greenland. It's huge and empty.
I didn't know that. Oh, that's really cool. All right, I dig that.
It's just big and empty, and it's useful for like oil and fishing rights. But it's
and
huge.
a prison. So back to Ephraim. He's obviously sad. He's got, whoa, baby. She was just trying to end it all by rolling off the seat. Try not to. Zelda is Ephraim for the next little bit, apparently. City says, tish. I don't know what it was for, but I'm pretty sure. I don't know what it was for. Anyway, we understand that he's the husband of Trig, a fellow Grey. He has an obsidian accomplice, Volga. And with the help of Dano, a red, Sira, a green, he steals many precious artifacts such as the razor of the first sovereign. There it is. Selenius Alloon. Oh, that was the first sovereign. The stealing of the razor was the last job given to him and his group by Oslo, the arbiter who hired him for the job. He tells his crew that they are done with jobs, leaving them without so much as a victory. He meets up with Holiday T. Nakamura on Trig's birthday. It's really interesting to see Holiday a few years later as well. You good? You want to hop off? Okay. Because she's a badass. She's been howling it up for a little bit. And she's kind of... They still have a relationship, but it's kind of based on Trig's anniversary or death anniversary, I guess. Or birthday. So he's a former son of Ares, and he's become disenchanted with the Rising after Virginia, our Augustus, had set many guilty golds free, and then he's turned to a life as a professional thief and a drug addict. They had an unpleasant reunion discussing their disapproval of where each other is at before Holiday says farewell to him. He says that he's not going to meet up again next year. Drunk and depressed, he's about to jump to his death when he's knocked unconscious. He awakens at the mercy of the Duke of Hands, a member of the syndicate. The Duke threatens him if Ephraim doesn't disclose who he stole the sword of Selenius for. But Ephraim doesn't say who it is, even at the risk of losing his hand. This guy's got nothing left to lose, and he's just like, well, whatever. But the fact that he wouldn't snitch basically passed a test that the Duke had so he could hire him for a bigger job. He brings the crew back to discuss this new job, and although Sierra and Dano are very reluctant, thinking they're going to die, as does Ephraim, they agree to do it because, hello, the pay is $80 million. Thus starts the heist subplot in with all of this. The second part is that we go to the Kabachi Tech Emporium. This is always a really fun part of the mission. It's kind of, in James Bond where you find out that the lipstick is really a laser. It's all that kind of fun stuff. But in this particular, this is where, like, no crows, no rusts. We kind of get an understanding. And Ephraim's got a little bit more pep in his step now that he's got a goal again. He obtains the tech, meets with Lyria at Aristotle Park, still under the guise of Philippe. They have a little conversation, spend the day together. I don't know if that's happened yet. So I'm going to shut up.
That was the last thing that they met.
Yeah.
That they spent the day together.
Good-o. Oh, we're at time. The second half with Lyria and part 2 that we've seen so far is basically she's a valet. She's looking after Sophocles. She's learnt about this night lily. She takes a day venture to the Hyperion city to check out a museum. She has the Karen incident, and then Philippe comes to the rescue. Darrow. Darrow doesn't like hearing no. He's going to take down the Ash Lord even if it kills him. Instead, it kills Wolfgar. He's a wanted man. He's asking a lot of his howlers, even though one's a snitch. He says goodbye to his son. They actually have a moment. Now he's back on the road. They go to find prisoner 11632 or something like that. Who is this prisoner? They go to this place, which is like, I think it was the Jackal was the last person that they killed. So everyone goes to this, the worst of the worst place. Who is this prisoner? It's Titus's brother, Apollonius. Apollonius, who's living his best damn life with 2 pinks, in all of the cells turned into this decadence where he's living out his days because money. And the warden has decided to take said money so that he can live in opulence. And the person who's like in his actual cell is an obsidian who's had his tongue cut out. So can't spill the tea if you can't say the words. We kind of get an understanding of what Apollonius is like. He's the Minotaur, as they call him. We don't really know much, but every time Titus mentioned his brothers, all we learnt was that he was so much worse, that Titus was the nice one, that these guys are really bad. Titus. Titus was from the first book. Tactus was the second book. Deep Grave is the name of the prison, says Vaden. Underwater Supermax. If you played Baldur's Gate 3, it's like the rescue mission that you had. Yeah, a lot of fun. You have to save everyone. Ephraim, says Lisa. Oh, because in the book, is it Ephraim or Ephraim? It's Ephraim, yes. The mission was super fun. Apollonius is saved. They're trying to be super stealth. They're trying to make it think like this is the Ash Lord that's come in to do this little sneaky rescue. But a little battle goes out. The warden has to be killed. He gets his eyes gouged out by Apollonius, who is psycho. He is a deranged absolute psycho, but apparently the key to the next to discovering where the Ash Lord is. You get a taste of just how fuckeried they are if he decides to go AWOL and change direction. He's such a psycho, says Kay Frito. And in all of that, Darrow's helmet gets off, and the Minotaur, Apollonius, is like, well. So this is going to be very, very interesting. They have banked their entire reputation and the entire future of this mission on a deranged psycho. What could possibly go wrong? Stay tuned next week to find out. Yes?
I just want to say props to the heist, mission by Darren and the Howards, where they actually they took non-lethal stuff and managed to actually not kill anyone. I assumed they were going to kill somebody by accident.
The warden will never see again, but yes.
Yeah, that wasn't their fault. I mean, they didn't go.
And they also bring Tongueless onto the ship, who in turn smuggles the warden's dog. We got a doggo on the crew. Will the dog single-handedly or pooredly bring Darrow back to a sense of consciousness and purpose? Will Darrow be a better dad to the dog than he is to his own son? He's automatically a howler. Nice, KP Dubs. Give me that boom tush.
Or will Pierce make us fall in love with the dog and horribly kill the dog? Like,
don't kill the dog. I don't think. No. I don't know if you've ever seen Pierce cuddle his dog. Ain't no dog dying in this one. I could put money on that. Ain't no way. Or it is Pierce. No, I don't think he would. So that's kind of like the story that we've got from those 4 characters thus far. Some of the pieces on the chessboard are coming into play. I was going to do predictions for the next second half, but so far I have failed miserably at listening to predictions. And I don't really want to spoil it for anyone because I'd forgotten something and then remembered. But some of you are very, very clever howlers, aren't you? We've got 2 weeks until the next one, I believe, to finish the book and reconvene. If you are like me, I'm going to start Iron Flame tonight and we'll absolutely finish this book. And then I'm going to finish Iron Gold, talk about Iron Gold, and then I'll probably re-listen to Iron Flame to talk about that at the end of the month. Books. The dog is going to kill the Ash Lord, says Nick. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Avery says that is way too much iron. You know what? I might even eat some meat as well and get my iron levels up. Lisa says I'm going to start Iron Flame when I'm done with Iron Gold. Coward, Lisa. Face it head on. What's the worst thing that could happen? Zayden's going to cry. I'm kidding.
No, then that way it's fresh in my mind when we actually talk about it, because otherwise it'll be gone.
Oh, 100%, which is why I'm going to have to probably read the book twice. But I just need to know. It just came out and everyone's flying through it. Yeah, City's already finished Iron Flame. Other people already finished. I need to know. I got to get on that.
Is this book 2 the dragon?
Yeah.
People?
We're doing it for our yeah. Oh my god. So you can't see it, but Eric's face just went,
I mean, I hit 100. It was hard slogging with that. I do like, Maude, your impersonation of the Valley Girl dragon soldiers.
oh my god. Zayden is just over there at Basgias College. I'm going to see if he likes me. He's so hot. That is my impersonation of the narrator.
Not use that voice in your audition. Like, how did you not?
Because I did not like the narration of the first book. I'm so excited. And in fact, the hottest guy anyone has ever seen ever likes me.
I don't think it's the narration's fault. I think that's like when I'm reading on the text, and that's how it more or less sounds in my head. It strikes me as so cheesy, like in the text. I'm just like, it's so painful.
I've just been given the rap from Tass. I gotta go. I'm hosting something. I've got to get out of here and do another job. Oh, she's on fire. Tonight should be a lot of fun. Vaden, I'll see you there. Are we going to quickly raid someone? And finish the book. Iron Gold. Let's go, go, go. Thank you, Lisa.
What are you hosting, Maude?
This book launch for these 2 amazing books. Heroes Feast, Flavors of the Multiverse, which is the second in the Heroes Feast books. It is a cookbook, but it takes you through all the cool places where D&D has campaigns, and Lore and Legends, which is talking about how D&D has evolved since 2014. Written by Michael Whitwer, Kyle Newman, Sam Whitwer, and John Peterson, and everyone but John will be there tonight. I will be moderating a discussion with those 3. It will be a lot of fun. Kill, 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 says KP Dubs. Oops, wrong series. My brother gave me
official Wizards D&D books.
Yeah, they are licensed through Wizards of the Coast. You can buy them from all good book places. There is a 20% off at the moment, even though Flavors of the Multiverse literally came out yesterday. It's already 20% off from Amazon. Why? Because they want to monopolize the book market. But if you want 20% off, go for it. Nerdboy says, kick ass, Maude. I will try not to kick anyone's actual ass, but I will try to be ass kicking. Tate says, bye gang, have fun. Thanks to everyone. If this was your first time watching Maude's book club, a big welcome. Get reading. This is a really fun place to discuss it. If you want to support Geek, what was that? 11 months? 11 months. Still
Maude's World.
If you want to support Maude's book club, head over to patreon.com/Maude's book club. There are 3 tiers. You can get exclusive merch that you help design. You can get a part of the show and join a video chat where we hang out after the show usually. Sorry, I can't do it this time, but I'll do it next time. I did it a little bit before this show. Because she's busy. It doesn't happen often. Night work, you know? I had to do this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can also unlock the Discord. We've got a lot of discussions that happen there that are for members only. It's where we make decisions. It's where we decide on the books. It's where we choose and prioritize how things are going to look in the calendar. We are trying to get 2024 locked down, at least the first quarter. So I think we've got a poll happening for that. Girl, she gone, girl. Yeah, we need to get going. Who are we going to raid? Who did we decide on? I
think Sage is online.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was going to do.
The time has come.
Nice. Nice use. I love his voice, even though he's a little evil. Please say hi to Sage. Drop some books. We've only got the logo. I gotta go. Bye, everyone. Sorry I can't stick around.